everyone, so today we are going to be making a lentil cottage pie. So I'm going to tell you, instead of naming off the ingredients at the beginning of the video, if you just watch at the very end, I'll have them scroll up so you can pause the video and write them down, because it's a little time consuming for me to read everything off to you. So your ingredients for the base is going to be lentils, mushrooms, carrots, peas, corn, and onions. And you're going to add some sun-dried tomato pesto, nutritional yeast, and then you're going to make your garlic mashed potatoes. So the first thing you are going to do, I already have my mashed potatoes made. So while the base is cooking, I'm going to tell you how I made them, because that's a little bit time consuming to do in a video. So the first thing you're going to do is add 2 to 3 cloves of garlic in the bottom of your pan, and turn the heat on with, I like to cook with coconut oil, but you can use olive oil or any other oil, light tasting oil that you like to saute with. This is about 2 tablespoons of coconut oil, and all I'm going to do is heat the bottom of the pan. Oops. Heat the bottom of the pan and kind of get the garlic sizzling and fragrant. And so what, sorry, I'm collecting my thoughts here. So you're going to throw that in there and let that cook for a couple minutes. Again, I have everything chopped and prepped. I chose to use frozen vegetables for this one. I use the frozen peas, the frozen corn, and carrots. Essentially, you can use fresh carrots, but it's a little bit of a time saver for me, so I just buy the frozen. And the mushrooms, I usually buy the fresh ones, but this time I had them in the pantry that needed to be used up, so I chose to use the canned mushrooms. And the lentils, those are just canned lentils as well, because I find that when I use the dried lentils and cook them, they kind of don't give me that ground meat texture. They kind of stay a little crunchy and hard. So that's why I choose to use the canned ones when I make this. So this is basically like a shepherd's pie, but I just like to call it cottage pie. So okay, so by now your garlic should be nice and fragrant. So you are going to add in your onions and also add in your mushrooms at this point. At this point, you can probably start seasoning your vegetables that you have in there. So once again, as I mentioned, garlic plus is my go-to seasoning that I use for basically everything. So I cook the vegetables, give that a nice generous sprinkle. I don't measure. I kind of just kind of eyeball it. I add in some pepper. And again, the pink Himalayan salt. And give that a stir. And you're going to kind of let that cook for a couple minutes. So while that's cooking, I'm going to talk to you about how I did my mashed potatoes. So the mashed potatoes is about 10 cups of potatoes sliced. Put them in your pot. And basically however you like to make mashed potatoes is how you're going to make the potatoes, but I'll tell you how I did them. So it's 10 cups of potatoes, and this recipe should get you a nice generous Pyrex dish of it. So this should feed about 6 to 8 people, or at least I hope I'm having that for dinner tonight. Okay, so the potatoes you're just going to put into your stock pot. I like to cook my mashed potatoes when I'm making them with vegetable broth. I find that it gives them more flavor, so you're using less salt at the end. So that was cooked in 4 cups of vegetable broth and 4 cups of water. Or if you need a little bit more water or broth, kind of fill it till the potatoes are just covered. And then once your potatoes are cooked, you're going to drain them, throw them back into the pot or into a large bowl. Add in 2 to 3 tablespoons of non-dairy butter, 2 to 3 cloves of garlic if you want garlic mashed potatoes, seasoned with salt and pepper, and I added in 1.5 cups of unsweetened non-dairy milk, and you're just going to beat it. If it's a little bit too pasty and you want it more creamier, add some more milk to it. And that's it. So usually when I make this and I'm working, I will make this on the Sunday night or the Sunday afternoon, and then when I get home from work, all I have to do is cook it at 45 minutes, at 400 for 45 minutes, and it's ready to go. So that's normally what I do when I make this when I'm working. That's what I do. I make it the day before and then cook it the day after. Okay, so your mushrooms and onions at this point should be ready and sauteed. You can preheat your oven at this point to 400 if you're going to bake it right away. If you're not, you're just going to cover it and put it in the fridge. And you're going to add in your lentils. I used 2 cups again of the canned lentils. Alright, kind of give that a stir. The only thing that's really time consuming when you're making this is the potatoes. Otherwise, throwing everything in the pot takes no time at all. 1 cup of frozen corn, okay, and 1 cup of the carrot and pea frozen mixture, okay, and you're just going to kind of give that a stir. So I make sure that's not hot. So turn it down a little bit. So I'm just going to kind of show you what it should look like right now. Okay, that's kind of what it should look like. Put it back on the stove, turn the heat back up. At this point, I'm actually going to add a little bit more garlic plus. I like them very tasty. All right, kind of give that a mix and let that cook for a couple minutes. I'm going to show you the potatoes I have made, so I already pre-made those. And my secret ingredient in this is the sun-dried tomato pesto. Again, it doesn't matter the brand, I just use whatever I can find. And nutritional yeast. So I'm going to use about 2 tablespoons of nutritional yeast. And give that a stir in there. Right. And the sun-dried tomato pesto, I would say you're going to use 4, maybe 5 tablespoons, let's say. Yeah, 5 tablespoons of the sun-dried tomato pesto. And you're just going to mix it in there. And that's going to give you a flavor punch. And mix it in really good. Again, this doesn't have to cook and heat all the way through because this is going to cook in the oven after for 45 minutes covered. Alright, so once that is all kind of mixed, you're going to turn down your heat. Get your Pyrex. This doesn't have a size, so just a large Pyrex that you have. And you're going to put that right in the bottom. If you have a pan, which I do have, and I have made it before this way, but this time I'm doing it this way, kind of spread it all out. If you have a pan that can go from stove to oven, you can definitely keep it all in the pot. So all you would do is keep your ingredients in there, top the potatoes, and pop it in the oven. But I ended up doing my Pyrex dish. Okay. All you're going to do now at this point is take your mashed potatoes and you're going to kind of put them on the top. You will find that if you start spreading the mashed potatoes, that the mixture will kind of start crumbling up kind of and mixing into the mashed potatoes. So as you can see, I'm just kind of spooning spoons of it on top of the mashed potatoes, or on top of the filling, correction. Like so. Alright. This is definitely a family favorite in my house. All of my kids love it. and it's full of veggies and full of goodness. All right, so you might have a little bit of potatoes left over, which is never a problem in my house because it'll get eaten at some point in the next couple days. Right, and if you have a bigger Pyrex dish, which I could definitely use, I probably would use up all my potatoes. So that's all you're going to do, is kind of do that, and spread it over top. Once all your potatoes are on, then you can kind of spread it so the lentils doesn't mix in with your potatoes. All right, so I have about a cup of potatoes left over. So if you didn't want any potatoes left over, then I would say about 9 cups of chopped potatoes. Okay, so all I'm going to do at this point is sprinkle paprika on the top. Oops. Like that. And I like to put parsley flakes, dried parsley flakes on top. Again, I don't measure, I'm just kind of sprinkling them on top like that. And that's it. So all I'm going to do now at this point is cover it and put it in the oven and cook it at 400 for about 45 minutes. Again, everything is cooked, so all you're basically doing is heating it right through. If I wasn't cooking it right now, I would cover it and put it in the fridge, and whenever you're ready to eat it, you just cook it in the oven. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this as much as we do.